guys, welcome back to my channel. We are playing Beacon Pines today. Where we left off last time was with Nuncreed getting pulled into the mines that we didn't know existed, and he told us to run, and we said fuck that. So let's get right into it.
The cold, hard truth. Beck leapt up, allowing the suction to yank her into the dark. Dimness eclipsed around her like the shutter of a camera as she seemed to cover great distance in mere moments. Her only points of reference were glints of upcoming turns, which approached with frightening speed, only to carom her gracefully along. She heard the tinny, distant echoes of Rollo's glee.
Of course Rollo would be happy.
Once she stopped fighting against it, the ride was impossibly smooth. Then, all of a sudden, as if minutes had passed in an instant, light blazed into view.
Ooh.
A burst of wintry air snuffed across her face, and she was flung out into the cold.
And what are we doing in the cold? That's gotta hurt. That was intense. Yeah. I think I might have parted with some fluids in there. Yuck. Any idea where we are? Somewhere cold. Doesn't look like it got on any of us. Oh, right. He's still talking about fluids. Right. Fun. I didn't feel like we traveled that far. So where did it all go? He's still stuck on that. This place sucks. Why would anyone ever want to blow something up out here? Only one way to find out, I suppose. We've got to catch up to Nuncreed. I think he went this way. Catch up to Nuncreed. Well, can we go back down? Looks like we aren't getting back that way. Okay, so we definitely have to find Nuncreed. It's unseasonably cold, don't you think? Okay, why am I not being able to go anywhere? Maybe this way, that way. Okay, what am I doing wrong? No? Fair enough. Do we go this way? Apparently we do. Ah. Did this take us, like, to a different time? Because our house should be here. And it's missing. And this should be... So the tree should be over there. Did we teleport in time? Like, they're not gonna have any comments as to why this all looks familiar? Okay, this is starting to feel really familiar. Okay, they are gonna have. I just needed to wait. I may not be most well-versed on all things Beacon Pines, but this does look like some sort of frozen replica of town. Ah, I got it. It's so obvious now. Nuncreed is an alien. Rollo, stick with me here. His species can only live in sub-zero temperatures. Oh boy, here we go. The source is their base camp dimension, so naturally they keep it cold. We found it by traveling through those mechanical wormholes back there. The final objective, kill us all and shapeshift into a Beacon Pines citizen of their choosing. You really had me, but you very much lost me there. You get used to it. We should keep moving. No little piggy perennial harvest.
As they rounded the corner to the frozen town square, they spotted Mr. Nuncreed inching cautiously toward a pit at its center.
Wait a second. What? It's not even the day of the festival, so why would she be here today?
He held his arms out gingerly, as if approaching a beast in the wild. Upon closing the distance, Luca recognized what Nuncreed was after. Gran stood confidently at the edge, one arm outstretched over the abyss.
You ain't my Gran.
Nearby, a wheelbarrow had been emptied out. She held a lit torch, which flickered in the bitter wind.
Now listen here, Gran. Juniper, I don't know what you think you're doing, because I assure you, this is not going to solve anything. If you drop that, you've doomed this whole town. Oh, it wasn't me who doomed this town. I've been watching you, Joseph. I know what you've done. You and your co-conspirators. Gran, what's happening? Luca, you and your friends need to leave right this moment.
Mr. Nuncreed turned back toward the kids, desperation in his eyes.
Listen to your grandma, Luca. This is between me and Juniper.
Lowenbeck held steadfast in awe. Luca approached closer. Mr. Nuncreed spun back toward Gran, his voice growing louder.
You've got it all wrong, Juniper. Just hand over that torch. You don't understand what you're doing. How could I possibly trust you to do the right thing? Walt told me everything. He trusted you, and you betrayed that trust. Luca, did you know that this man's entire life is a lie? If it weren't for him, your father might still be alive.
Mr. Nuncreed winced with anguish. His voice hardened.
That's not true.
They both now yelled, not to each other, but at fate itself, making their peace with long-held burdens. The wind howled with encouragement.
Walt was like a brother to me. We just had different ideas about how to effect change. Very convenient that your way just happened to line your pockets. Now that's not fair.
They menaced at each other, both catching their breath. The moment balanced on a knife's edge.
Are we just gonna forget the fact that that's not really Gran?
Of emotions and memories.
Or did...
Luca's mind flooded with questions.
No, we know that this... Wait, now I'm confused. Which lifespan or book path did we find out Gran wasn't? Was it this one or was it the one before this? I'm lost now.
The wind calmed, as if to give him the stage.
Uh-oh. And in the stillness, he began to weep.
And in the stillness, he began to weep. It was all just too much. Falling to his knees, Luca whimpered softly. The tears crystallized as they hit the snow.
Poor Luca.
Gran stared at Luca for a moment with warm sympathy, remembering why this was all necessary.
This will all make sense soon, Luca. Then everything can go back to normal. I promise.
She stiffened up and brandished the torch at Mr. Nuncreed.
You can't hide behind those people any longer, Joseph. Once their precious source is destroyed, we'll see where their loyalties fall. Juniper, don't.
Ignoring his final plea, Gran flung the torch into the deep darkness.
Uh-oh.
She smiled and exhaled in relief. Mr. Nuncreed moaned in resignation. The torch echoed as it ricocheted down the hole, punctuated with a thunderous thud.
This bitch just froze us all again. You see, Joseph, I've learned one very important lesson in life. If you want things to change, then you must be willing to freeze
Gran
yourself,
could finish,
apparently.
The ground shook her to silence.
Uh-oh. Yep. You should have listened to Nuncreed. I don't know how many times people have said that.
Only had time to spin around and run to Luca. Her attempt to shield him, an honorable but trifling act. unflinching love, pitted against an unthinking horror, there was no contest. Her warm embrace froze in an instant. That is where they remain, fixed in place, forever. And so, our story ends on this melancholy scene.
Aww.
In a town brought low by its secrets, sits the frozen statues of a misguided band of meddlers. The end.
No, not again.
Well, that was dire.
Dire Grove Dyer?
On the bright side, we finally figured out where all the ice is coming from.
Yeah, we did.
Now, we just need to find a way to deal with a mystic, unfathomable force of nature.
It's not a force of nature. It seems to be, Gran. Gran seems to really be the problem there, guys. Okay, well, we only have one option, and that's MCDC. Fight. Luca's mind raced. He was caught in a trap. What do you do when there's no hope? Iggy wiped his cheeks with a sleeve. What are you gonna do, Luca? Luca drew himself up and decided to take the only opportunity they had left. Oh, we tried fight. Now it's flight.
Luca drew himself up and decided to take the only option they had left. Flight.
Fly like a bird.
He squinted down the barrel of the mission control defense cannon, aiming it through an opening in the dense tree branches. He looked up with surprise as it struck true and taut.
Wow, I can't believe that worked. Hey, Mr. Kerr. We'd love to hear your thoughts. But I'm afraid we have places to be. Come on, Iggy. See ya, jerks. Fine. We know where that leads them. This way, we'll take the tunnels.
Luca and Iggy winced as they sprinted through the thicket. The branches clawed at them, reluctant to give passage.
Are we headed to the frickin', what is it called? Warehouse?
After what felt like a marathon, Luca stopped in his tracks as they reached the clearing. What the? That was all he was able to say before Iggy slammed into his back. The boys tumbled down a steep decline and crashed with a wheezing thud on a surface as hard as ice.
Ah.
In fact, it was ice. Chapter 5. Signs. They stood silently, catching their breath. The sky was like sapphire. With each breath, a plume of steam escaped from Luca's lungs. Let's keep moving. Luca pulled Iggy to his feet as they gazed across a snowy terrain.
Uh-oh. So, we can get here through many different means. It's not like a different time or a different dimension. That's kind of really weird. What the actual pretty bad... That was actually pretty badass. Uh-huh. I think we lost him. Are we up in the mountains? I don't think so. If anything, we went downhill. Then what's up with the Winter Wonderland? All I know is there's no going back to the way we came. Let's see if we can get our bearings. Follow me. Find a way home. Can we not just follow the rope? I know we can't take the rope, but... Luca? Luca, are you there?
Luca had almost forgotten the walkie-talkie he was carrying.
It's that bozo Kerr. I hope nothing bad has happened to you out in those woods.
Luca looked at Iggy with hesitation.
No need to be
With a
rude.
resigned sigh, Luca responded.
It seems like the only dangerous thing in the woods is you. He speaks, the young man of the hour. Now, how in tarnation did you end up with one of our radios? Just lucky, I guess. Boy howdy, you Van Horns are full of surprises, aren't you? You knew my parents? I never had the honor of meeting your father, but your mom sure was a handful.
Luca winced, shoving the walkie-talkie back into his pocket.
We gotta keep moving. think we're gonna be caught up in here. No one's gonna find us except Kerr, right? I mean, even if Nuncreed were to find us,
A disc of smooth metal was lightly covered in snow. 2 faint seams were visible along the surface.
a manhole cover. If it is, I've never seen one like it. Uh-oh. What's the readout? Sitting just above 258 Kelvin. That's down a bit from last time. Should we report this to Mr. Kerr? Meh. Still within safe ranges. It may be spreading, but it's under control for now. Even a small nudge in the equilibrium could cause a cascade. Dude, relax. Just a few more sites to hit before we can punch out. Let's get this over with. What's all this? Hard to say with all the snow. I think it's a town sign. I can almost make out letters under there. What town could this even be? There couldn't be another town this deep into Weepwood. I'm looking at evidence to the contrary. Let's figure out what we're dealing with here. Step 1. Snow's gotta go. I'll see what I can do. Can we kick the sign? Ah, okay. We use snow to get rid of snow. Apparently I need to be closer. There we go. Welcome to Beacon Pines.
The boys stared in disbelief at the sign that now clearly read, "Welcome to Beacon Pines."
This doesn't make any sense. We're in Beacon Pines? How's that possible? We ran away from town? How did we get back here? I guess we got turned around? Where did all this snow come from? Well, it's been colder than normal lately. That's a pretty big difference between sweater weather and this Arctic hellscape. The puddle we fought at before? It was cold, too. Maybe all of it leads to one source. You think it's related? What the hell is going on? We gotta get you some answers. We gotta get you some answers. Yeah, but it kind of seems weird that he's saying we gotta get you some answers when everybody needs answers, but I guess he's saying that because we need to figure out whatever's wrong with his face, right? Let's keep moving. Is there only one road that leads out of here, too? This stuff looks familiar to you? It looks like the barrel near the puddle shoved me into. Yeah. Sorry about that again. If you weren't being an asshole, it wouldn't have happened. It's all frozen.
Looking down at the frozen stream, Luca could faintly see a school of minnows encased in the ice.
Whatever happened here, it happened fast. The fish didn't even have time to run. Or, you know, swim run.
The crunching of footsteps trailing Luca went hush. He looked back to see Iggy's face twisted with confusion.
Everyone's gone. What? There's nothing here but more snow. There must be an explanation for all of this. We have to keep looking. You can look all you want. I quit. Iggy, we have to keep going. You don't get it, do you? This isn't one of your pathetic Hankatomic stories. We aren't going to save the day. We aren't even gonna save ourselves. My face is mangled. The town is destroyed. And everyone we've ever known is gone. We don't know that. You can't just quit. Do whatever you want. I'm done. Iggy, it's gonna be okay.
Luca peered upward at the darkening sky. He let out a long, foggy breath. Faintly, Iggy began to cry.
I feel so bad for them, but at the same time, I don't really feel that bad for Iggy. What?
Seeing Iggy in such a pathetic state gave Luca a sense of compassion, and more than a little guilt.
Why should he feel guilty? He didn't do it on purpose. It is getting pretty late. I think probably not a great idea to stumble around in the dark anyway.
Luca allowed himself to collapse next to Iggy.
Are they gonna freeze to death? Let's just rest for a bit.
The boys huddled together for warmth and comfort. If not for exhaustion, their minds would be racing, trying to make sense of the events of the day. As it was, all they had energy for was to sit in silence, numb.
I get that. Who's gonna stumble upon him? Anyone? The way the snow covered everything over, it's kind of calming. Yeah. I haven't had time to say it, but thanks. Huh? For getting us away from those creeps? I sorta froze up back there. Iggy, I should be the one apologizing. This all happened because I lost my temper. Nah, that's bull hockey. First of all, you didn't know what that gunk would do. You didn't, right? Of course not. And second, stop with this baloney about losing your temper. But I did lose my temper.
Iggy motioned sarcastically to his half-deformed face.
Obviously. But that's exactly what you should have done. Huh? I was being a horse's ass. You were supposed to be a horse's ass in response. That's how it works. Iggy, I'm having a hard time following. You wanted me to fight you? Of course. These, you goody-goody types take forever to understand this very basic point. Why would you go around saying cruel things, trying to get into fights?
Iggy shrugged.
It's something to do. You're an asshole because you're bored. Sometimes I just feel empty. You wouldn't understand. You and Rolo are always having a blast together. Laughing and calling that dinky little treehouse mission control.
Iggy now wept openly.
Poor Iggy. You're always seen with your one friend too, so I mean, what the hell? Perfect little Luca Van Horn. With his perfect little life. My life is not perfect. Everybody in town likes you. Not everybody. Hell, that new girl hasn't even unpacked yet, and even she already likes you. You have Tish,
He
that's
wiped
the
his
name.
nose with a sleeve.
I love Tish. Tish is great. But she ain't exactly the world's greatest conversationalist, you know?
Luca gave a warm chuckle.
I get that impression.
Iggy cleared his throat as he wiped his eyes.
Huh. It must be raining out here. Definitely.
Iggy arched into a wide yawn.
We should probably try to get some sleep. Yeah. Let's lay low for now. Tomorrow we'll get to the bottom of all
Luca's
this.
eyelids began to slowly drift
I
shut.
feel like they're gonna freeze to death. Luca? Yeah? I always did want to see the inside of your dinky little treehouse. What do you think? Not bad. I'll give you the full tour when we get back. You know what? Huh.
That's all Luca could whisper before succumbing to sleep. Iggy snuggled in some more.
When it comes to worst days of my entire life, this one wasn't half bad.
The house smelled of warm bread.
Oh yeah, is his father gonna be in this one too?
Luca was playing with toy blocks on the living room rug. He looked up to see his parents on the couch.
Oh, both parents.
His mother held his father's head in her lap. She idly stroked his hair while humming a song. A voice behind Luca spoke. This is how you remember them, huh? Luca turned to see his own face. The doppelganger from his dreams, still clad in a yellow hazmat suit, still carrying a look of disdain behind empty eyes. Aww, look at this perfectly cozy scene. You know it wasn't really like this.
Well, of course, apparently.
The figure picked up a toy block and inspected it. It's amazing the facades that one can build given the right materials. Not that I blame us. These are a child's memories, all warm and fuzzy. You don't remember, do you? Lucas snatched the block from the figure's yellow-gloved hand. Remember what? The doppelganger pointed to the couch. The last day we saw him alive.
No.
The day he chose to abandon us.
Chose
Luca
to?
turned to look at his father, still lounging on the couch. That's not true. He didn't abandon us. The doppelganger waved his hand dismissively. Everything is true here. It's just a matter of what we choose to see. Well, let me show you. The world flickered and pulsed. Luca was sitting next to his bed, listening to his heartbeat with one of his dad's stethoscopes. The doppelganger limped into the room. No, we both know that's not how this went.
I kind of wish we could actually see this
He
cutscene.
grabbed Luca's hand and guided the stethoscope to the floor. Luca heard muffled shouting, brought close by the stethoscope.
Oh no.
It was his parents, fighting. Do you remember what we did next? Luca gave a slow nod and crept down the hall to peek through the banister.
Was
He
his
could see
dad a
the
bad
outline of his
person?
mother at the bottom of the stairs. Damn it, Walt. We can't afford to get involved in this. She was scared. His father stepped forward. What am I supposed to do? Just watch? There's a sickness in this town, and we both know who's behind it. I swore an oath to help people. I won't turn my back on them.
I feel like he's probably gonna, get killed.
Luca's mother grabbed Walt. She was crying, pleading. I can't lose you.
Aw, so sweet.
Walt calmly removed Eleanor's hand from his shoulder. What's right is right, and what's wrong is wrong.
Dude, there's not just black and white in the world.
I could never live with myself if I let Sharper get away with this. Eleanor raised her voice. Spare me your bullshit platitudes. What about our son? Luca flinched, dropping the stethoscope down the stairs. Walt turned with a panicked smile. Luca, is that you, buddy? With tears in his eyes, Luca descended the stairs. Mom? Dad? What's going on? Walt dropped to a knee to meet Luca eye to eye. Nothing, buckaroo. Your mom and I just got a little overexcited is all. Luca placed the stethoscope against his father's chest. His heart was racing.
I mean, if it's right and wrong and this is the right thing to do, why do you lie to your kid about it?
It sounded like you were going somewhere. Walt gently removed the device from Luca's ears. Listen to me, Luca. I have some business to take care of. I'll be back in time to tuck you in. Luca hugged his father tightly. Promise? Walt stood up and walked to the door. He glanced over his shoulder. I promise.
Oh,
With a
that's
wink and a
sad.
grin, he put on his hat and strode out into the...
Evening sun. I hit the button too soon.
A figure approached soundlessly from the foggy snowfall.
Who is this?
It stood above them, lingering in contemplation. Slowly raising one hand above Iggy, it snapped out 2 brisk raps on his head. From a deep slumber,
Anyone there?
Iggy sprang up defensively.
Get your hands off of
Whether
me.
it was the calming presence or the recognition that he was not in danger, Iggy felt his clenched fists lower.
How does he know he's not in danger? What you think you're doing?
Luca looked up, gradually remembering his whereabouts. The figure exhaled a cloud of warm vapor.
You two certainly have caused a lot of commotion. What's that supposed to mean? Take it easy, Iggy. We were asleep minding our own business. You're the one running around knocking on people's heads. I'm sorry if I hurt you, Iggy. You didn't hurt nobody. Anybody? Huh? Oh, I see. You think you're better than me, you.
When it came to complete strangers, Iggy had trouble cobbling together an insult.
You big-headed, big-hatted, scarfy-necked, furball. Okay, let's lower the temperature a bit here. I think it's cold enough as it is, but okay. Interesting choice of words. I mean, let's all just calm down. Who are you? A friend. An overseer. An observer. A hitchhiker on an infinite expanse of possibilities. Great. How about a name? If you must call me something, you can call me Nat.
Iggy huffed with gratification.
How about you make like a gnat and buzz off? Very well.
Nat began to turn away indifferently.
Wait. Do you live here? You might say that. So you know where we are? You might also say that. Look, pal, we just want to find a safe way out of here. You gotta help us or not. Before knowing how to leave, one must know where they are. Alright, that does it. Luca, I don't know about you, but I'm getting out of here one way or another.
Sharply and began to stomp off.
Enough with the riddles. Iggy, wait up.
Realizing he'd worn their patience then, Nat relented.
Very well, I suppose this isn't the time for metaphors. I'll show you how to get back
Luca
home.
and Iggy turned around with hope in their eyes.
Dude, should you just randomly trust some random guy? I don't know why they're acting like they're safe. He could be working with the clipboards and Kerr. Come here.
Nat took a deep breath in.
Close your eyes.
Nat exhaled slowly, then snapped his fingers.
Okay, open
For
them.
a brief moment, Luca and Iggy let themselves believe that some great magic was about to unfold, until they opened their eyes and found themselves in the exact same place.
Well, I mean, what did they expect to happen?
Cold and disheartened.
This is your home. This is Beacon Pines. Look, Nate, we don't know how we got here. Maybe we stumbled through some time travel gate in Weepwood, or we teleported to some alternate universe, or this is all just some cruel experiment by Kerr and his goons. But this is not our home. You're inching closer to the truth. Alas, the reality is much less fanciful. Just give it to us straight. So be it. As I said, this is Beacon Pines. The original true Beacon Pines. Oh, is this... So when they came back to Beacon Pines, right, after that vacation of them all staying in the hotel, is this the original that they never came back to? You both grew up here. But the town you've called your home for the past several years is a replica. A remarkable achievement of engineering, to be fair. But a replica, nonetheless. That's impossible. It's too much work. You'd need a whole town to replicate a whole town. Indeed, to pull off such a feat would require immense labor and power. That which could be moved would be moved. That which could not would require a precise duplicate. Oh, that's why our house is missing. We would have noticed. Someone would have noticed. You'd think so, unless the auditing was impeccable. A mind-numbing attention to detail. As for the innumerable trivials which complete the tapestry, well, you can leave that to this mysterious thing we call a brain. It has a real aversion to discontinuity, a revelation even. The The brain has a wonderful way of smoothing out the rough edges, keeping us sane. Luca and Iggy looked around, uncomfortable. Wait, why isn't it reading that for us? So you're saying that someone made an entire new town and moved us all and no one noticed? Precisely. But why? Why is a question that can never be answered with certainty. The best one can do is to uncover.
Nat narrowed his eyes, furrowed his brow, and uttered,
The source. What do you say? The source? Why do you say the source like that? Why
Luca
indeed?
began to laugh uncomfortably.
This is ridiculous, guys. There's no way they
He
could,
looked down at his feet. His eyes darted back and forth in contemplation. With a sudden pain, a thought struck him.
If this really is home...
He sprinted off into the pale distance. As Iggy turned to follow, Nat called out,
Iggy! It's not too late to turn back. Simply head west, through Weepwood. How does he know about all this, though? How is Nat here mixed up in it all that he knows what's going on? I'm gonna leave this episode off here. I fear we are nearing the end of Beacon Pines. So, I will see you in the next one, and we will find out what happens. I don't really know what's going on anymore. They duplicated the whole town when they sent everyone to the hotels, or at least I feel like that's when it happened. And maybe his mother found out and that's why she disappeared. But alas, we now know his grandmother is not really his grandmother, which I had suggested. So, I do wonder how that's gonna turn out. When are they gonna confront her on that? I'm getting off point. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.